in this class, we will learn about the plants' survival. Means, where can they grow? On land or on water? Okay. Do you know, some plants can grow on water, but some plants can't. Okay. First of all, let us move on to the two concepts, that is habitat and adaptation. Do you know that habitat means natural home of any animal or plants. See, here some animals and plants can live on our land, so that is the natural house or natural home for animals and plants. But what is adaptation? Adaptation means the environment where we can adjust. Suppose, Nodi, now Shivamogga we can set up with this environment. But if we go to any hill station, what will happen? Hill station hodre, alli weather hengirutte? Cold irutte. So we can't adjust in that environment for the long time. Isn't it, my dear students? So adaptation means where we adjust. Means in Shivamogga we have adjusted in this environment. So this is our adaptation. Okay. This is the main difference between habitat and adaptation. For the plants also, there are two types of adaptation. Some plants can grow on land, that are called as terrestrial plants. But some plants can grow in water. So they are called as aquatic plants. Okay, my dear students, terrestrial and aquatic. These both two words are very easy to understand. Okay, now let us learn only about terrestrial plants today. Okay, terrestrial means land. You have to understand the topic. Okay, see here we have a tree diagram. Means here we can get the clear picture about terrestrial plants. Terrestrial means land. Which kind of land is there? So here that may be desert, maybe mountain, or any plain, grassland, coastal area. Okay, maybe forest and marshes. Maybe the land can changes, and according to that, the example for the plants also changes. Okay. Now let us see one by one about these terrestrial plants. The first one is desert area. Do you know what is present in the desert area? Yes, there is no soil, only sand is present like this, and very hot temperature. In this condition, the plant grows here. Which plant is that? Yes, your guess is correct. Cactus. You can see the image of cactus here, isn't it? See how it looks? It does not look like an ordinary plant, isn't it? There are so many needle shape is present there, isn't it? That are called as spikes. Why they are present on the surface of this cactus? Because to avoid transpiration. Okay, now you have to understand the meaning of transpiration. Transpiration means the water content is present inside that plant that evaporate. Okay, that is called as transpiration. To avoid this evaporation means ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋದು water content ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಬಾರದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ spikes ಇರೋದು. Okay, you can observe this image and you can also observe the spikes around the cactus tree. Okay, my dear students. Now let us move on to the mountain and hilly areas. See, you can understand the difference mountain and hill. How the surface is how the surface changes from mountain and hill. Hill is just like dome shape, and mountain is peaks are there, and too much ice, snowfall, isn't it? In these areas, which plants can be found? Yes, the plants are having conical shape like this. Okay, these are the plants present in mountain and hilly areas. Why they are having the conical shape and why they are having the leaves, needle shaped leaves are there? Why? Only because of the atmosphere there. See, generally in the mountain areas, snowfall happens, and during the snowfall, when ice falls on these leaves, they can directly come to the land. Okay, down they can directly fall towards the land. So for that, the trees are having conical shape. and the leaves are having needle shape. Okay. Now let us move on to the marshes. Marshes means what? The clayey land and where there is more water present. Okay, the soil is less but water is more. Because of that the land becomes clayey. You can see the image. Okay, see how the roots are coming upward because they can't grow inside the land, inside the clayey soil. So the roots are came up. Okay, the example is mangroves. The tree example is mangrove tree, which generally found in marshes. Marshes means like this. The roots came up. Okay, they breathe outside the land. Okay. Now let us move on to the next one, that is plain. Plants in plain. So in plain, generally that we have plain surface. Some places there are moderate rainfall happens. Okay, in that places, which trees can grow? See, Ashoka and Neem. They are the two examples where moderate rainfall happens. No, at that place, these trees can grow. But if there is a heavy rainfall happen in some places, in that places, the trees like rubber, teak grows very nicely. So this is about the plain surface. Now let us move on to the forest. Have you seen the forest? Yes. Forest is like this. Too much trees, too many trees and too many small trees also. The herbs, shrubs, the plants which are very much important as a medicine, they can grow in the forest area. They take the support from the big trees and they grow below the big trees. Okay, this is what happens in forest. Now, let us move on to the grassland. Grassland, obviously, too much grass is present on the land. That is nothing but grassland. See, small grasses are there on the land. That is called as grassland. Small wild flowers may be there. Okay, on this surface means grass and small white flowers are present on grassland. And the last one is, of course, coastal area. You know very well coastal area means near to the sea, isn't it? And near to the sea generally we can find many coconut trees. Very good. See here, this is a coconut tree and the atmosphere is very much suitable for such trees. Okay, my dear students. So here we have completed the trees present on land, that is terrestrial plants. So let us check out once again the tree diagram. See here, how many lands are present in the terrestrial area? See, terrestrial plants that grows in desert, mountain and hills, marshes, plain, forest, grassland and coastal area. See, here we have covered the topic of terrestrial plants. Let us check out some points. Okay, here I have one image. Okay, in that some questions are there. Okay, the first question is related to the, okay, you can read. In the mountain area, how the leaves are, the shape of the leaves becomes? Yes, here there are some options. Very good. The first one, needle shape. In the mountain area, leaves are in needle shape. Very good. And the sea coast, which plant is present? Coconut plant. Very good. Now the last one is, which of the land? What is the land present in the marshes? Obviously that is clay. Because of too much water is there, so the land and soil becomes clay soil. Okay, my dear students, this is about the small checkpoint to check out your knowledge. Now let us summarize all this concept through this video. Quickly watch this video and you will get the clear picture related to our class. Okay?
Terrestrial plants. Plants that grow on land are called terrestrial plants. Different types of terrestrial plants are adapted to different environmental conditions. Plants growing in hilly areas. Trees in cold, hilly areas are usually tall, straight, and bear needle-like leaves. Such leaves allow rainwater and snow to slide off easily. For example, conifer, cedar and fir plants. They produce cones instead of flowers. Plants growing in deserts. Deserts are the areas that receive very little rainfall. Hence, only those plants that need very little water can survive here. Special features in these plants help them survive in such conditions.
Yes, my dear students, have you seen that? Terrestrial plants, and actually where they grow, like desert area, coastal area, forest. Isn't it, my dear students? The time for aquatic plants. Aquatic, this word includes water. So plants which grows on water, they are called as aquatic plants. There are three basic types. See, floating plants, fixed plants and underwater plants. Okay, they are divided into these three parts. Okay, now let us see one by one. What is the meaning of floating plant? Floating plants means what? Floating means they float on the water. For example, water hyacinth. Okay, water hyacinth is the example for floating plant or a water lettuce. So I have the example water hyacinth. See here, the plant is floating over the water. And now let us move on to the next type, that is fixed plant. Why it is called as fixed plant? See, I have the example for fixed plant, that is lotus or water lily. You can also take that. Fixed means they are floating over the water, but the roots are fixed into the soil, which is present below the water. Okay, and they grow not in the deep water but in the shallow water. So land is near to them. See, and the stem is hollow. Okay, not bulky one. Hollow stem is there, so that they feel light. They can move, flexible. They can move from here and there. And then the wax coating is there over leaves of lotus, over leaves of these fixed plants. Why? To avoid if any water droplet falls on the leaf, that couldn't stay on the leaf. Okay, that will fall down. So this is all about fixed plant. Now let us move on to the underground plants. Underground plants means what? Which grows under the water. See, I have the example, take grass. So take grass is like grass, but it doesn't have the actual plant shape. So it cannot be fixed. So it is movable. It can move from here and there. The leaves can move from here and there. And leaves doesn't have so much stomata. They cannot breathe with leaves. But they can grow with the special features which is in that. Okay, that are called as underwater plants. Okay, they are flexible. They can move into the water. They are not rigid, fixedly rigid at the into the water. So they are called as underground plants. Now let us move on to the plants in grass family. Okay, some plants look like grass, but they are not grass. Okay, some plants look like trees, but they are not trees. They are grass family. See, for example, rice, wheat. You know very well these examples. These are the plants which look like grass. So they are come into the grass family. Okay. Now let us move on to some plants like sugarcane, bamboo. They are also in a grass family, but they are not look like grass. They are look like trees, big trees. Okay, but they are from grass family. Now let us move on to the plants like unusual plants. Means some plants, non-green plants that we have studied in the last lesson, isn't it? The non-green plants like fungus. Okay, mold on bread. Yes, you can see fungus here, mold on bread here. They are non-green. Okay, they can't prepare their food, but they can live on other food like bread is here. So, and another one is insectivorous plants. They are also unusual plants. They cannot prepare their own food, but they eat insects like Venus flytrap. You know very well the example. We have studied in the last lesson, isn't it? Venus flytrap, pitcher plant. Okay, these plants cannot produce their own food. So they are called as unusual plants. Now these are what about plants, grass and some aquatic plants. Now let us move on to one concept, that is rainforest. Rainforest. Do you know how forests look like? See, like this. So many trees, so many bushes are there in the forest. So the dense population we can see of trees. So that is called as canopy. This one word is new for you. The dense population of trees in the forest that are called as canopy. And such areas are present in our India, like Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Assam. In those areas, such rainforests are present. Means dense population of many more trees. Okay, means dense forest we can say. Okay, this forest, the word is there, rainforest. Okay, you have to remember this word, rainforest. Where the rainforests are found in our India? Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, like this. In these areas, these rainforests are present. Okay, my dear students, today in this class, we have learned about aquatic plants and grass plants. Okay, now we will see a video. In that video, you can summarize the topic of our today's class. Okay, let us enjoy the video.
Aquatic plants. Some plants are grown in water. They are called aquatic plants. Aquatic plants are of three types: floating plants, fixed plants, and underwater plants. Floating plants. Floating plants have spongy bodies filled with water. This spongy body makes them light and enable them to float freely in ponds and lakes. The stomata is present on the upper surface of the leaves, which is exposed to the air. Water hyacinth, wolfia and pistia are some examples of floating plants. Fixed plants. The roots of these plants are fixed to the soil at the bottom of the pond. The hollow stem and broad leaves help these plants to float. The leaves of these plants are broad and have a flat surface that helps them to get enough sunlight and air. Stomata are present on the upper surface of these leaves. This helps these plants to absorb air for making food. The leaves have a waxy coating to prevent water from collecting on them. Fixed plants have a very flexible stem, which helps them to bend with the high currents of water. This prevents their breakage or damage. Lotus and water lily are examples of fixed aquatic plant.
Yes, my dear students, have you seen that video? In that video, you get the clear picture about this class, the aquatic plants, and many more examples are there in that video, isn't it? Have you seen that? Have you enjoyed that? Yes. In the next class, we will do some exercise work related